This is how I became to love my vagina. It's a bit embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, and me just loving my woman's self. Like, I know all of it. Vaginas are beautiful. Like, our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. And I know all of it. I mean, like, if we grew up in a culture that teaches us that fat thighs are beautiful, we'd be pounding down milkshakes, scarfing down Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs. I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women that looked at it, and from that moment on, I wish I had it. It made me sick. I pitied anybody who went down there. In order to survive, I pretended there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. A comfy futon with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I've gotten so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Like, whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him in a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I had ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript. He wore khaki tan clothes. He didn't like spicy food or listen to Prince. He had no interest in lingerie. In the summertime, he spent his time in the shade. Like, he didn't express his inner feelings. He had no problems or issues. He wasn't even an alcoholic. Like, I mean, he wasn't very funny or like articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-absorbed or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change that I had dropped on the deli floor. He was handing me back my quarters and my pennies, and his hand accidentally touched mine. And something happened. I went to bed with him. And that's when the miracle occurred. Turns out, Bob loved vaginas. Yeah, he was a connoisseur. He liked the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he liked the way they looked. Like, he had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me that he wanted to see me. I'm right here, I said. He goes, no, you. I want to see you. Okay, turn on the light, I said. Yeah. Thinking that maybe he was just some weirdo freaking out in the dark. So he turns on the light, and then he says, okay, I'm ready to see you. Right here, I went, I'm right here. Then Bob undresses me. I'm like, what are you doing, Bob? I said. He's like, I want to see you. Like, okay, come on, just do it. He's like, no, I need to see what you look like. But you've seen a leather couch before, I said. He's like, no, it's who you are. I need to look. So I held my breath, and he looked and looked, and then he got all breathy, and his face changed, and he didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. "You're so beautiful," he said. "You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild." "You saw that there?" It was like he was reading my palm. "Yeah, I saw that," he said. "And more, much, much more." He stayed looking down there for almost an hour, like as if he was studying a map, observing the moon, staring in my eyes, but it was my vagina. And in the light, I watched him looking at me, and he looked so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way that he saw me. I felt beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. I mean, he wasn't grossed out. And I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob, he lost himself there. And I was there with him in my vagina. And we